Hello everyone and welcome to the top 10 Bleach Brave Souls characters of 2019. Because there are so many characters that came out, you can only imagine that this list is incredibly difficult to come up with. Plus at this point the game has so many different game modes, and everybody prioritizes different things, so obviously opinions may vary. So keep that in mind as you watch this video. That said, let's get started. Now we're starting off with Ichigo. Crazy, I know. He just came out. In fact, the step-ups in which he came out is currently underway. Now there might be a little bit of controversy when putting this character at number 10, and I get it. For some people, he's a lot more useful than others, and it all depends on how much you prioritize PvP, which is actually why I ended up putting him at number 10. Since he is primarily a PvP character, but still unbelievably good. He not only has a really high attack of 781, but he also has Bruiser at 20, as well as Poison Flurry, meaning his attacks do 20% more damage and they hit twice. Additionally, he does not stagger when hit. Ichigo also starts off a quest as well as any PvP match with 10 barriers that completely nullify the first 10 hits he may happen to take. In addition to this, he's also got the ability to pierce barriers. So if you're up against any enemy in PvP that happens to have barriers, he's just gonna ignore it. Ichigo can also inflict weakening on his normal attack, strong attack 1, strong attack 2, and his special, though it's not debilitating weakening. Still, he does have a plus 50 berserker, so his strong attacks aren't quite as useless as some of the other characters with high attacks, since his can actually deal a decent amount of damage. Ichigo is also completely immune to being paralyzed, and he's got a damage reduction soul trait of 16%. In addition to this, he's also got an Espada killer, which is kinda why he's so up high, but it means he's the perfect counter for Noitora. Unfortunately, it means he won't be quite as good in PvE. Honestly, if it wasn't for PvP, he probably wouldn't be on this list. That's not to say he's not an amazing character, but again, it all depends on what you prioritize in the game. At number 9 on the list, we have the 1000-Year Blood War version of SOI Fon, who, like the character before her, also has Flurry and Poise as well as a really high attack. In addition to this, she's also got a strong attack 2 that's a boost move. It increases her attack, defense, and focus by 33%, increasing that attack to over 1000, and it affects the entire party, not just her. In addition to this, it also transforms her, and increases the magnifications of her normal attack as well as her strong attacks. It also summons up a vortex move that surrounds her, that remember now has an increase in magnification, meaning it deals more damage, and helps protect her from enemies around her, making her incredibly useful for autoing. Now SOI Fon was one of the first characters to have Flurry, as well as a decent killer, which makes her incredibly valuable in PvE. It also means she can hold her own in PvP, though there's beginning to be a lot of competition there. Still, her Ankar killer lets her be useful in just about anywhere, and thanks to that incredible attack and abilities as well as her normal attack soul trait, you can bet she's going to be dealing a ton of damage. She's also pretty good at avoiding it, since because she's a SOI Fon, she's got an above average number of flash steps, allowing her to dodge enemy attacks and specials, and letting her just clear rooms faster. Now at number 8 we have the manga version of Namu, who has a really high SP as well as Frenzy. In addition to that, she's also got Berserker at 20%, and she's got Havoc at 20% as well, meaning that her strong attacks are gonna reach far and wide, and deal a decent amount of damage. And thanks to the recharge link, you can spam them, which is great considering her strong attack 3 is more than a full screen. She's also got a fairly decent attack stat for an SP character, and she has long reach at 20%. Though if I'm being honest, you're more than likely gonna use her strong attacks more than a normal attack. Namu also has Sprinter at 2, so a combination of this and the Havoc means that she's a pretty swift character to have. She's also pretty good at avoiding enemy specials and overall enemy attacks. She's also completely immune to being frozen, but you'll notice that'll be a trend on this video. Finally, we have her special, that deals a decent amount of damage, but more importantly, grants everyone protection. So if they were to die anytime afterwards, they would just come back to life. I'm glad we ended up getting a manga version of Namu, and I'm hoping we end up getting manga versions of the rest of the lieutenants as well. Next on the list we have Hakone, who has a really high SP as well as Frenzy. That felt nice to say. Now while there are other characters who didn't make it on this list, who can in fact deal more damage, it's gonna be a little tough to find one that's faster. As I mentioned, his strong attacks deal a lot of damage, thanks of course to the frenzy. They can also inflict debilitating weakening, and because of the strong attack recharge link, these strong attacks are spammable. Plus they all have really good range, including a full screen strong attack 3. Now while this isn't all that rare these days, what is rare is his long stride ability, something that used to be a lot more common, but then SOI Fon came out and kinda ruined it for everybody. This ability basically increases the range when you flash step, and when partnered with an increased sprinter, it becomes incredibly useful for clearing areas faster. Hakone also has a Soul Reaper killer while having no affiliation, meaning he's got the best killer in the game, and also one of the more resistant affiliations. A combination of all this makes him one of the fastest characters in this game, and one of the best characters to come out last year.
行くぜ。レボルベルロスロボス。逃げられると思うね。
Now at number 6 is one of my favorite characters to have come out this year, as well as my favorite Espada in the entire series. I'm talking about Coyote Stark. Stark not only has a really high SP, but he also has Frenzy. In addition to this, he's also got Havoc at plus 20. So if you thought Hakone's range was great, this guy basically blows him out of the water. And much like Hakone, he also has a strong attack recharge link, so you can take advantage of his strong attacks as much as you'd like. His strong attack 1 and 2 have insane range, but his strong attack 3 is beyond full screen. In addition to this, they can all inflict debilitating burn, essentially making him a boss killer. Now he may not have long stride or an increased number of flash steps, but he's still one of the fastest characters to clear a floor with, thanks to the crazy range and the burn. He can also inflict burn with his normal attack, which is piercing, but odds are you're not going to be using that much. Now with all this talk about burn, I should note that Stark is completely immune to it, which is honestly just icing on the cake. As I mentioned, he is my favorite Espada, so I hope that eventually we get another version of Stark, though I have to say it's going to be pretty hard to top this one.
逃げられると思うな。メンテスでキブロン。
Now next up is the Can't Figure Your Own World version of Halibel, who shares a lot of similar traits to Stark. They're both tech characters, they're both Espada with the Rancor killers, and they both have a strong tech recharge link. That said, the two playstyles couldn't be more different. With Stark, you would usually go a high damage strong tech recharge build, but with Halibel, the possibilities are endless, since not only does she have a really high SP as well as Frenzy, but also a plus 40 Berserker, meaning that on her own, her strong attacks deal more damage than any others. Since it's basically like having 2 plus 20 strong attack damage links, without actually using up any of her links. In addition to that though, she's also got a plus 40 Bruiser, and she puts it to very good use as well. Her strong attack 2 is a boost move, and it increases her attack to over 850, meaning that if you wanted to, you could actually build her in a really good normal attack damage build. Halibel also has Enhancer, meaning that if you wanted to, you can make this an infinite boost. You can also make it an infinite barrier, since it's a barrier move as well. And while barrier moves and boost moves typically don't have the biggest range, hers actually does, because she has Havoc at 20, making not just that, but all of her strong attacks have pretty good range. They're not Stark level, but it is still pretty good, and her strong attack 3 is more than a full screen. And then we have her special. Usually characters have either plus 40 devastation or bombardment. Halibel falls somewhere in the middle, having a plus 60 devastation. So while it's not bombardment, it still hits harder than just about any other character special. Now in addition to all of this, she's also completely immune to being frozen, making her definitely worth the 7,000 orbs I used to get her.
我らの誇りを汚した罪、その見事けあがなえると思うな。
I'm so glad I was able to put another season along this list. As much as I wanted to put Halibel and Stark in front of him, this Byakuya is just too good. Now while Halibel can definitely hit harder, I don't know that we've ever had a character with as much range as this guy. Stark, Halibel, and Byakuya all have Havoc at 20, but while those two's range got good, Byakuya's was good from the start, and the Havoc just made it insane. His first two strong attacks have range that's close enough to a full screen, and his strong attack 3 is beyond full screen. In addition to the frenzy, he's also got Berserker at 20, so these strong attacks are going to deal a ton of damage, and they can all inflict debilitating freeze. And thanks to his strong attack recharge link, you're able to spam these. His special and piercing range normal attack can also inflict debilitating freeze. And in addition to this, he's completely immune from being poisoned. Honestly, this year kinda nailed it with the seasonal characters, but in my opinion, Byakuya is the one that stood out the most.
Nuggets. これで分かっただろう。
At number 3 on the list, we have Mugetsu Ichigo, who honestly kinda stands out on this list, since a good chunk of the characters before him can inflict more damage and have greater range. That said, there's a reason he's so high up. Not only does he have one of the highest SPs in the game, but he also has Frenzy and a great kit, with strong attacks that have great range and are really fast to activate. It can also all inflict debilitating weakening, and because of his strong attack recharge link, he can spam these strong attacks. Now all of this is stuff that I've said on this list already. However, unlike anyone else on this list, and anyone else who came out this year honestly, this Ichigo has a double killer. And that's what really sets him apart. He's also the first and only character in this game whose double killer includes no affiliation, with the other one being hollow. He's also one of very few characters who has an ability that lets him regenerate 20% of his health after every area, without it being a link. Like many other Ichigos, he's also got a +2 sprinter, letting him clear an area a little bit faster than everybody else, and making it easier to dodge enemies' attacks and specials. Finally, there's the fact that he's completely immune to being frozen. Honestly, an argument can be made that this character is the most valuable PvE character to have come out this year, what with tag teams not coming out and all.
仕返しすぎて天外まとい万象等しく映し削らん遠羅経典
Coming in at number 2 is Tokinada. Honestly, this one was kinda difficult. Actually, the whole list was kinda difficult, but this guy and number 1 were a bit harder than the others. As a pretty good argument can be made for either one being at the number 1 spot. In the end though, I put Tokinada at number 2, and man, what a monster this guy is. Not only does he already have a really high attack as well as flurry, but he's also got a boosted normal attack damage link of 25% and a bruiser at 20, essentially increasing his own normal attack by 45% before having it hit twice with every attack. That's not all though, he's also got a boost move strong attack too, and he's got enhancer, meaning these attacks are going to do a lot more damage. And it's not just his normal attack, his strong attacks do as well, since for that character he's got a ridiculous +50 berserker, and actually decent strong attacks. Strong attack 1 is a beam shot, his strong attack 2, in addition to being a boost move, is a vortex move that gathers enemies in one spot before pushing him back, and his strong attack 3 is a full screen. And believe it or not, this character actually gets even better after he uses a special. While having no actual multipliers on his special, it does completely transform the character, at least for 30 seconds. It also inflicts weakening. Now during this transformation, his magnifications increase, both on his normal attack and his strong attacks, meaning that they deal even more damage than they already were. Additionally, because this character transforms, his strong attacks completely come back to him, and in addition to dealing more damage due to the magnification increase, his strong attack 1 and his strong attack 3 can now inflict the status ailments of freeze and burn respectively. Oh man, this character is incredibly complex. As I mentioned though, his transformation only lasts for 30 seconds and he actually doesn't have debilitator, so none of these status ailments are going to stay for a very long time. With that said, he's completely immune to being paralyzed, and he comes with the ability Guard Break, which is unbelievably useful, and does exactly what the name says. While he may not be as fast to clear a floor as some of the other characters, he definitely hits a lot harder. He's a beast of a character, and he definitely deserves to be this high on the list. Now there were a ton of good characters this year, most of which I couldn't fit on this list for obvious reasons. That said, here are a few more characters who I thought deserved some mentioning. This time though, they're not exactly runners up, since at that point I might as well have just made top 15.
貴様の全身の感覚は俺の手の中。これが完璧な生命だ。ラビーダ・フォルニカラス。ジャンボクの刀は一振り一冊さ。
And at number 1 we have Oetsu. As I mentioned, placing him and Tokinada were kinda difficult. since they're kinda similar characters. In the end though, I did think he was just a little bit better, though not nearly as complex. Like Tokinada, he also has a really high attack as well as flurry. He doesn't have a normal attack damage link, but he does have a plus 40 bruiser, increasing his normal attack damage by 40% as opposed to Tokinada's 45. That said, his link is a strong attack recharge link, which definitely comes in handy, since like Tokinada, he also has a berserker at 50%. And because his strong attack 2 is also a boost move with enhancer, this comes in handy quite a bit. Not only this, but his strong attack 2 is also a vortex move that surrounds him. Does a decent amount of damage thanks to the plus 50 berserker, and it encompasses a really wide area and doubles as a shield, making it perfect for autoing, really great for taking down barriers in PvP, and pretty good for increasing a combo. The strong attack recharge actually gives him quite a bit of versatility, and you're able to build him in multiple different ways depending on the situation. Similar to Tokinada, this character is also completely immune from being paralyzed, and he also comes with the ability Guard Break. Oetsu also has a really good special, since in addition to dealing a decent amount of damage thanks to his plus 40 devastation, it also has a chance to instantly kill the enemies, and we all know just how useful that ability can be. All of this make him not just the #1 Zanpakuto creator, but also the #1 character of 2019. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for some more top 10 lists.